beautiful day, and it's just
We
right to be here at the Arlington
Should have
Pond.
brought our suits.
Yeah, exactly. Now, tell me a little bit about Arlington Pond. You seem to have some interesting facts for us to know.
Well, I don't know how interesting the fact is that I caught my first 16-inch pickerel right at this spot right here when I was a kid, and I was incredibly proud of it. But there is some good fish in here, and you'll still see people. In fact, just a few minutes ago, we saw a gentleman leaving with his fishing rod.
Yeah, that's right.
So, as I said before, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But a lot of people might not know, because the lake looks so beautiful, that this is man-made. Actually, though, it was created by the Arlington Mills, and so it has a dam, and they can raise and lower the level of this lake, and it was water that comes down from Big Island Pond. So many people, if they're at this end of the lake, which we're at the opposite end of where the dam is, might not realize that it's man-made. And in the past few years, we have now tapped into Arlington because Salem desperately needs water. And so we have run a pipeline to Canopy, and the water from Arlington is filtered and put into Canopy, which is a natural spring-fed lake. So it now serves not just recreational purposes, but also helps provide water for our community. And when I was a kid, we used to call this Arlington Park.
Wow.
And the houses all around Arlington were what they called camps. Not even summer homes, they were called camps.
Yeah.
And after Labor Day, everybody went home. And there were just a handful of full-time residents, and one of which was my uncle, who was Guy Kittredge, and was the one who owned a lot of the land around Arlington and maintained the dam, built the causeway, and took care of everybody's problems right around Arlington Pond. Right. So I grew up on this lake, and in fact, not too far from where we are now is where I learned to swim, because people didn't have swimming pools when I was a kid. Right. We had the lakes, and we used to swim at Arlington Lake. And the island, the property right behind us is called Major's Island, and it was an island at the time. Since then, they have built a road right over there. But when I was a kid, we used to swim across and go play on this deserted island. Thought we had our own kingdom. Because our parents would have killed us if they'd known we were swimming across the lake by ourselves. And we'd play and then swim back. But now you can drive over there, and it's there's a home over there now.
Great. And I would imagine they're going to take certain extents to preserve this area.
Well, you know, this is very valuable property right now. Any waterside property is very valuable. And many of the homes, most of the homes now are year-round. And yet you still have very narrow roads because, as I said, it was a summer vacation spot. And so you have very, very narrow roads. We're also now looking for more water sources because as Salem has grown from a place that just had summer homes and a small community that could have a fire station that had call fire departments to what we have now, water is a big problem. And so we're now drilling in the town forest because we believe that there might be more water there, and we need another source of water for all the people in Salem because it's a necessity. And so Arlington, though, does help meet the need for the moment, but we're certainly going to have to continue to search for that. And it's a great area, and certainly, as I said, you head over towards the mall and you don't realize you're so close to one of the lovely lakes that are right in our own backyard and around town.
Exactly. Well, what cemetery is this?
We are at Mount Pleasant Cemetery in North Salem. As I told you before, North Salem was almost a separate entity unto itself, and of course we have Pine Grove Cemetery. There are a lot of other small cemeteries around Salem, but this was the main North Salem Cemetery, and you'll find stones here dating back to the early 1800s. You know, many people like to come and do a stone rubbing, and people that are searching out their ancestries make pilgrimages to cemetery to get information about people that were members of their family. And it is quite a lovely place. You can see why it's called Mount Pleasant. It's a little bit higher ground, and it certainly is a pleasant place right across from the lake.
Very good. Any stories do you happen to know, or do you know anybody that was
you know,
buried here?
these were a lot of families. You'll notice when you walk around the cemetery that you'll see whole areas that are just mothers, fathers, grandparents, children, a lot of young children, because people didn't live as long in those days. And when disease would come, they didn't have the medical technology and know-how to be able to prevent things that we could prevent quite easily today. And so you find a lot of children's tombstones here, age 16 and different things like that. But these were all people that were very important part of Salem's old history. And this is where they've ended up spending their time until they reach the pearly gates. Right. And it is a very quiet, lovely place still to this day, and probably fitting that we ended here, because I'm sure a lot of people think we're stiffs anyway.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it is nice because it is overlooking the pond.
And as I said, many people don't realize that there's a North Salem history besides Salem history, even though it merges. Right. And we were all Salemites and the people before us. But, you know, if you don't know about your past, you're doomed to repeat a lot of the mistakes. And the fact is, it makes you realize how old a community Salem is, and that we have a long history, and we need to preserve our history.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Stephanie Micklon.
Well,
and I hope you'll be a part of the program later on, and we can go some other areas of Salem.
I have heard rumors to the effect that you and I might be going on the road some more.
That's very possible, and I hope people will tune in to our future programming.
I hope they'll think it's fun and enjoyable. You know, it's nice to hear good news and to hear some of the stories about Salem's past, present, and future. Right. And just so that we can put maybe a positive spin. There's so many wonderful things about this town. I know it makes you proud to be a Salemite, and it makes me proud too. Right. And we need to encourage people to realize all the good things that have happened in the past, the good things that are happening. And it's kind of nice to have some stories on TV that are just nice and in your backyard.
Excellent, excellent. So be it. And we'll do that. In the meantime, I'm Larry Seaman for Around Town Chronicles, and we'll see you around town.